Are you ready, my friend, to operate in God mode? Are you ready to leave part of your humanity aside for a minute and to step up to your divine nature, to your divine substance, to your divine core? Are you ready for escalating your creative mode, your inventiveness, your innovation capacity? Are you ready to start vibrating in cosmic frequencies? Yes or no? Maybe. Hmm. Are you ready to tap into your infinite potential right now? Are you ready to start manifesting the life that you really deserve? Not the one that your limiting beliefs are permitting you to live, not the one that your humanness or your little human conceptualization is organizing in your life. No, no, no. I'm talking about, are you ready to live your divine duty? Are you ready to live your mystical existentialism or your mystical existence? Are you ready to just step up to the next level of being? So let's say that we are like in a phylogenetic kind of evolution. So you already was a chimp, right? You already was a little monkey back in the day. Now you're a human. Are you ready now to become one with God, inseparable from God, not only in essence and in image, but also in operation, in how you conduct your efforts, in how you manifest in life? Hey, this episode will not be for everyone. Let me be honest with you. Not everyone is ready to operate in God mode. This will demand your greatest effort in your life. This is not easy to do. This will not be a truth simple to master. No, no, no. This is going to be one of the most complicated and complex ideas of your life. This is one for the serious business. This is one for the entrepreneurs of the occult. This is one for the crazy ones, for the ones that are really visionary and that are willing to be perceived as culture, in culture and in society as the weirds, as the jackass, as the shaman, as the one that no one can comprehend. So if you are not willing to separate yourself from normal humanity, if you are not ready or willing to separate from normal institutions that constitute culture and society, if you are not ready to do that, hey, this podcast, it is not for you. You are on time, you can get out. You didn't spend any money on this. But if you decide to stay, let me tell you that this podcast will demand, this episode and this idea, this way of life, this lifestyle will demand absolute concentration and absolute work from you for the rest of your life. But at the same time, will give you your most biggest treasures. It will give you a celestial empire. My God, there's another mosquito in my studio. Huh. It's like Always there's a mosquito here. I don't know how they get in. They're so intelligent. They are operating in God mode. Hey, mosquitoes, stop operating in God mode. Start operating like a mosquito. Hey, insects can also uh, work this idea, huh? So, hey, let's just begin. Remember, open your mind, open your heart, and open your notebook, because today you will leave a little bit of your humanity behind. Finally, my friend, finally. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! And congratulations, because thanks today, you will begin operating in one of the most transformational ways to operate in life, to operate in God mode. So, how can I say the introduction of this podcast in God mode? Let me try. Oh, come on. Oh, give me the energy, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most transformational podcast in the world, the Mastermind Podcast Challenge. Season 2 with your host, Dr. Derek Israel, and this is the episode 531. Yeah, that is how you can do an introduction in God mode. You can do it in a normal way, or you can do it in God mode. You can do it with infinite energy, infinite motion, infinite compassion, infinite love, infinite vibration, cosmic energy. That is what I try to project in that introduction, and that is what we are going to do today. That is how we are going to manifest our vibration today after this podcast. So stay until the end, my friend. This podcast will get out of here, mosquito. This podcast will be entirely worth it. All right. So before we begin, let me just announce that I'm about to launch a book that is in God mode. Believe me, that book, it is writing with my blood. It's my first book ever. So many people is expecting this book for how long? 6 years almost, maybe 5 years, something. So, hey, it's going to be called Terapia con Derek, Therapy with Derek, and I'm going to be launching that book pretty soon. So, as soon as I announce that, please grab your copy, because I will transform your life with this book. It will be amazing. So, let's go. What is, my friend, to operate in God mode? Before we begin with the formal definition and with all the steps to operate in this divine vibration and way of being, let me tell you that this episode is part of a informal mini series in this mastermind podcast that is composed, I think, from 4 episodes, if I am not mistaken. So those episodes are not necessary for you to understand this one, but I will recommend them because some of you guys are really serious with this work. Some of you guys want the entire benefit. And if you are one of those, you may want to listen the other ones because you will have the full context. So for you guys, the first one is only on Spanish and it is called The Importance of Being the Best, only on Spanish. But in Spanish, it is translated as La Importancia de Ser el Mejor. Lo puedes buscar en mi canal de YouTube o en Spotify o Apple Podcast. All right. So in that episode, for a brief summary for you to understand the idea, I just talk about, recovering the idea in our life that being the best is absolutely okay, right? We are living in a culture now that everyone is saying, being the best is not the most cool thing to do. We are all the best. We are all equal. We all deserve a medal for participation. And that drive of being the best and achieving your maximum capacity and capability is like kind of lost or not at least so much promoted in our hearts anymore. So that episode is just a revival of this mindset that becoming the best is not only the best thing that you can do, but also is your duty and your absolute responsibility with your personal development. All right, that's the first idea. Just breathe that idea, stick it in your soul, and let's move on. The second idea I discussed yesterday, and it is called How to Be the Best of All Time. How to be the GOAT. All right. So that idea is a little bit more advanced because one thing is to be the best, maybe the best, uh, the best that you can be is one way that you can see it, or maybe the best between you and your local competitors, or maybe you are the best of your generation, but not from the world, you know. So being the best of all time, we are talking about a new level of being the best. We are talking about being the one that changed the game forever. We are talking about being the one that is breaking the records, being the one that is finding your own style in an original way, that is setting a new game or setting a new style to play the game. When you do that for a consistent basis, you become what it is popularly known as the GOAT, the greatest of all time in a specific area. And in that episode, and I strongly recommend you to listen to that one, I teach you how to do it, but also the most important thing is just I try to just install you in your mind the idea that is a good effort to trying to be the best of all time. Because when we talk about the best of all time, we think about just one phenomenon, like one crazy dude that he was able to pull that off, like one Michael Jordan or one Tiger Woods, like one crazy dude. But hey, it's not like that. You can be a greatest of all time if you stay disciplined, if you practice every day, if you become a master strategist, if you cultivate your talents, if you fortify your weaknesses and you stay like that for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, all focused, you can become the greatest of all time in your specific area. So maybe you are a real estate seller or realtor. Maybe you are I don't know, a painter. Maybe you are a podcaster like I. So I don't care. Whatever is your industry, you can become the best of all time, and all start with the mindset. And I teach you that. So this is the third episode of this mini series. And this is how to operate in God mode. And how this fit in this whole mini series. Well, In order to be the best, and in order to be the best of all time, and in order to be a legend, and that will be the final episode of the mini series, you need to all the time, or mostly, okay, not all the time, because what I will be teaching you here, it is almost impossible to pull it off all the time. But for you to become a legend, the best of all times, you need to operate in a consistent basis in God mode. So look at it this way. To become a legend, you need to operate in God mode as a modus operandi. All right, as a just your normal God mode. What you will be learning today will be or should be your normal in your everyday life. And as I told you, being a legend is the final stage that I will be discussing tomorrow. So subscribe if you haven't. And that is the final state in which you are beyond the greatest of all time. You are beyond the GOAT, and now you became part of the archetypal structure or the spiritual structure of existence. Okay, so in that range or in that dimension, you are a legend. All right, you are more than just a game, or you are more than just a player in the game. You are a legend. You are a myth. You are part of the narrative in the infrastructure of the dimension that you already achieved that mastery. So stay tuned, because that one will be epic for tomorrow. So now let's go right into the description of what is to operate in God mode. So my friend, it's very easy to understand what is to operate in God mode. To operate in God mode is to operate in a level that you are more than human. And you may say, Derek, that is crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. The fact that you think that you are only human, it is crazy also. Because we are more than human. And in the word human being, we already are suggesting that we are more than human. We are not just humans, right? We are human beings. What the hell that means? Well, that means that we are human, but that we are also a being, that we are also an entity that have a certain substance of existence, beingness, we can call it, right? So if you have studied humanism, you kind of know what is beingness, but it's that kind of nucleus of existence or nucleus of experience that you can feel that you are being here, that you are existing, that you are a dynamic entity, that you have a sensitive kind of experience in this life that we call the human life. So the fact that you are a being suggests that you are more than human, or at least you are human with another thing. You are like a hybrid. You are like a human and you are like a being. So what the hell means to be a being? Well, to be a being means to be a divine code. This is the divine paradox. You are a human and a god at the same time. That's in Christianity is what is called that God created us from his own image. In Hinduism, this is called the avatar. We are just an avatar of God, and the avatar is made from the same substance of God. So we are not separated from God as humans. We are humans, but we are God also. We have been projecting godhood to different things during our whole history. Like we project godhood to a cow. We we project godhood to a, I don't know, to a serpent or to a dragon. Well, it is time also to project godhood to our own operations, because at the end of the day, we are also God. If God is everything, folks, as you say it is, well, that means that, hey, you are looking at God. You are looking at God right now. Look at here. Look at here. And hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Derek as an ego is God. I am not melogomanic. I'm not a narcissistic, delusional dude. I'm saying that God is me and everything else. You as well, this microphone as well, this cell phone as well. Hey, God is everything. You are not excluded from God. You are just like an ounce of God. You are just like a expression of God. Exactly as your art is an expression of you, you are an expression of God. How you can separate this podcast from Derek Israel? It's very difficult, because every word that I'm saying is like processing in my brain, in my character, in my personality. Everything that is codifying in the pixels and in the data, in all the software. It's like Derek Israel. It's like my spirit is in those software, in those codes that you can replay in your house, right? Well, how this is different from me? So how this podcast is different from Derek Israel, and how Derek Israel is different from God? It's a very difficult question. I don't know where's the difference. Where you can stand the difference between God and I, or God and you. And you may say, yes, the difference is the flesh. What flesh? This flesh? Because this flesh is just energy, man. The same energy that you find in all the universe. It is infinitely connected with everything else. It's non-local. Everything in the universe, and we know this by quantum physics, everything in the universe is non-local. What that means, that you perceive it, that is happening right here, but it's also happening in every other dimension of existence. That is called the superposition of the electron. The potential of existing in every dimension is infinite. So it doesn't make sense that you think that you are a localized type of human. No, man. You are a globalized or universalized type of entity, that you are all, and you are having a human experience. That doesn't mean that you have a human substance. So the whole purpose of this episode is to teach you to think in this way, inseparable from God, inseparable from the source, inseparable from the divine energy that is vitalizing everything else in existence. That divine energy is love. That divine energy is compassion. That divine energy is also consciousness. And you are conscious, you are loving, and you're a compassionate human being. If you are growing, if you are putting the effort, and you are a very good human, and you are a very good God. That is just the divine conjunction. It is how it is called in alchemy. If you go and study in every religion and every spiritual paradigm, you will find this truth. God is an operation. God is a verb. God is something that you can act. You act God. And to operate in God mode is to act God. Not act like God, but act God. Act divine. Act sublime. Act mysteriously. Act magically. What is magic if it is not God? What is magic? Hey, magic is just predetermined manifestations, right? When you are doing magic, you are manifesting something that you already predetermined. That is God. What is law of attraction? God. What is spiritual enlightenment? God. Everything is the same thing. We are so lost in the spiritual world with so many concepts these days. And hey, those have a function. I'm a theoretist, I'm a theoretist, I'm a I'm a scientist as well. I'm a psychologist. I understand and I value the power of concepts and constructs. But I also kind of know that they can get you lost if you just don't understand how to integrate them in a beautiful harmony as they are supposed to be. So, operate in God mode is to basically conduct your everyday life and your everyday business with this type of frequency, or through this type of length, or through this type of vibration or resistance that is the same with or as God. As simple as that. So, why you should be operating in God mode, you may ask? Well, why not? Why you should be operating in other way that is not your best capable way? Huh? Hey, I don't will try to convince you to operate in God mode. I will not try. But just think about this, man. You have only one life. Only one life. And you already maybe half through it. Maybe you are already 30, 40, 50 years. You know, death is very near. Yesterday, my mother called me. Her best friend was a very good woman. She was 72 years old, and she died yesterday. My mother's best friend, just like that, in a normal conversation. Hey, my best friend died. One day, very soon, you will be that best friend. One day, just like that, you will die. And this whole experience that you call human experience and your life will be over. So why not to operate in God mode until that? If when you operate in God mode, you create the best output possible. You create your best effort. You are the most happy. You are the most potent. You are the most energetic. You have the best vibe. You have the most strong leadership, because those are traits from God. God is the ultimate leader. He's the leader of humanity. You know, God is infinite creativity. He created the whole cosmos. God is the ultimate love form. He can love every sin. He can love every sinner. He can love every thing, every atom. Well, why you don't will be like that also? You see? So why not to operate in God mode? Please, man, stop refusing your greatness. This is not about if Derek Israel is right or not. This is not about if establishing this term God mode as an official term in my work, it is correct or not, it is morally correct or not. This is not a debate, dude. This is your life. This is just your life. You have two options. You either operate in your normal, average kind of performance every day. You go to work the same, you make love the same, you raise your kids the same, you read the same books. If you read any book, you watch the same podcast, follow the same followers, blah, 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 blah. Do the same type of workout, the same type of emotions, the same type of thoughts, everything the same. Everything the same modus operandi, and guess what? The same results, because same action, same results. Or, or, or you operate in God mode and you change the whole world. This is a very simple choice. It's not complicated. Don't make it complicated. So, what are some of the benefits, you may ask, of operating in God mode? Well, some of the benefit is that, one, you will be extremely happy. because you will be operating in your best. Also, you will feel and be your fullest integrity. And Friday, I will be discussing the episode about ultimate integrity. So when you feel that you have integrity, you are also like in paradise because everything is aligned in your being. Also, if you are considering creating a good Magnus Opus or Magnum Corpus, you should be operating in God mode also. So if you don't know what is a Magnum Opus, I have a whole episode about it on my podcast that is called the Magnum Opus Masterpiece. So Magnum Opus is just creating a masterpiece. So if you're an artist and you want to create a masterpiece, you should be operating in God mode. Also, if you want to create a Magnum Corpus, get out, mosquito! My God, man, I don't want to kill the mosquito. Like I can kill it. I can like just slap, bam, and you are gone. But I don't want to do it, man. It's like I have a lot of compassion with these folks, man. Back in the day, I used to kill them like just normally, and now because all of the work, the meditation, the enlightenment, the kindness work, now I've struggled a lot to kill a mosquito. Anyways, the Buddha said never kill a mosquito or something like that. He said something like never kill an insect, never kill another being, like never touch anything because everything is yourself. So it's like I have struggle right now. Anyways, I will let that mosquito live. I hope that you don't bother to see a mosquito here. Anyways, um, so yeah, if you want to create a Magnum Corpus, that is a body of work. I have an episode about that because it's not only doing a masterpiece, but it's about doing a masterpiece after a masterpiece after a masterpiece after a masterpiece. We can call that also being prolific. And I also have an episode that is called How to Be Stupidly Prolific. If you want more information, search that on my YouTube or Spotify station. So if you are an artist and you are looking for those way of extreme operation, you should be operating in God mode. That is will be a benefit for you. Also, if you want to become enlightened or infinite love, infinite compassion, infinite consciousness, if you want to become mystic, if you want to become a shaman, a witch, a magician, you should be operating in God mode also. This will be one of the benefits. Like operating in God mode will expand your third eye. That is just a representation to say that will expand your psychic power or your intuitive capacities. Because you will be vibrating high, as I will explain you. And when you are vibrating high, you are sensitive to everything else. You are connected. You are interpenetrating, and that is a concept that I will be discussing in the future. But you can Google it. Interpenetrating everything else in existence, because you are everything in existence. And finally, I will say that one of the benefits of operating in God mode is that you will operate in your absolute best, and that will put you in the position of changing the world for better and impacting the human history. I want you to think in that term. I don't want you to think little anymore. When you are operating in God mode, you cannot think little. You cannot conform anymore. God, how, to operate in God mode is to think how gods think, how gods feel, how gods creates. You need to make those philosophical questions. in order to operate like Him. How God loves, how God is compassionate, how God feels right now. And you then try to replicate that. And now I will tell you exactly how to operate like a God right now in God mode. But I just let me tell you, this is impossible, or I think it is impossible to do it forever. All right. So don't put like a very unrealistic standard. You cannot operate in this way that I will be describing you, the definite steps or the definite ways that a God mode will operate, because they are so difficult to pull it off that you will be able to do it sometimes, and other times you will be operating in kind of your normal human side, and that is okay. All right. I don't want you now to put this standard and to be punishing yourself when you are not operating in God mode. No, 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 no. My friend, remember, all the podcasts that I do are just pointers, just signs. This list that I will give you on how to operate as in God mode, you know, this is not an absolutist list. This is just a list. You need to create your own. You need to create your own codes, and you need to follow your own rhythm, your own tempo, and you will feel your own vibration. All right. So don't get lost in the details. So now, my friend, open your notebook, because we are going to the nitty gritty. We are going to the basis, to the foundations, to the modus operandi, how we actually do it, to the pragmatical part of this episode. So to operate in God mode, so you need to collapse all opposites through you. This is the first thing. This is the number one. Why is that? Because God doesn't know any opposite. God is both things at the same time. God cannot be all if it is only good. God, to be all, must be also bad. Opposites, right? God cannot be all if it is only the day. No, God, to be all, must be also the night. Also, God must be the man and the woman, the ugly and the beautiful, as Dr. Derek Israel. The green, the red, the blue, the yellow, the one, the two, and everything between the one and two. God must be also the thin and fat, the poor and rich, the healthy and the sick, the laugh and the tear. God is the opposites. So when you are operating in God mode, my friend, you should be collapsing every opposite through yourself, through your soul. Like imagine that every time that you walk, imagine that everything in existence that is separated joins. So after you are walking, everything joins. Just imagine that. That is a good thought exercise to picture what I am trying to explain or to transfer you in these words. So if, for example, if you go to a place and so let's say that you become part of this new group. Let's go more specific. Let's say that you go to a church and you become a member of the church, first time ever. You're a new member, and someone tell you, "Hey, man, this church is very good. Like most people in this church are very good. Most people are humble, but there's some people here in this church that they are kind of greedy, and they are not for God here. They are for the money, and they are for the reputation. So stay away from those people. Like they are sitting over there, those people." So that is a person, operating in a human kind of social normal way, right? That's how people think. But if you're operating in God mode, you know that you need to collapse all opposites. So you will say something like, oh, thank you for the information, man. I will just love everyone. Why is that? Because that guy was putting an opposite. He was saying, most people here are good, but we have some people that are not good. So he was differentiating, he was separating existence in two things in an opposite, right? So you as a God mode, you are gonna say, no, man, I will not judge my judgment. I will not break my holistic thinking for that average kind of thought. You are thinking in dualistic terms. I know that everything is the unus mundus, as in the alchemy it is referred. I'm writing a book about it. Unus mundus means the one world, the only one world, the only one thing, the ultimate union, the ultimate singularity. So I know that everything is united. So therefore, those people that you are telling me that they are not good, they are very good. And I will speak to them and I will respect them as well. That doesn't mean that if they, attacked you, or that guy was with a good point and they turn to be a very, very bad people, that doesn't mean that you will tolerate that and that you will not do anything. But what I'm trying to explain is that your perspective always must be integrative. God is always integrating. At the same time, God is always separating. Don't get confused. God is both, is the whole opposites. So God is the separating factor in existence, and also God is the uniting factor of existence. But for you to be human, it's going to be so normal to be separating your brain neurologically. It is programmed to separate reality. That is how your ego work, also in a mind kind of framework, and your brain also separate things. Because if your brain needs perception, for example, to know where you stand in time and space, just to say time and space is a separation. And just to say I'm here and the spaghetti that I want to eat is there and I have to do 3 steps to get there, that is perception, right? You are perceiving your time, space, a relationship with the world. Well, that is also separation. You need to say I am here in this coordinate and the spaghetti is there. That is just human. That is how your brain operates. That is just normal. You don't need to give a lot of effort to separate. You are separating naturally. Every word is a separation. If not, words are impossible because will be only just one word. Every word is a separation. So we are doing this with language, with art, with everything. But to unite, that doesn't come natural. That is a divine element. That is a divine constitutional value. Please search that YouTube podcast. That is another episode, constitutional values, if you want to know what is that, for your own character and integrity. So unite, my friend. That is how to operate in God mode. The second strategy is that to be in God mode, you need to vibrate in the ultimate vibration. So everything in life is vibration. We know this. This is a scientific fact, and also it's a spiritual fact. But everything is vibrating in different frequencies. I have an episode about this in Spanish that is called El Principio de Vibración. Búscalo en mi canal de YouTube o en Spotify. El Principio de Vibración. So everything is vibrating in different frequencies, and different frequencies make different forms. Everything that you see, hear, or perceive is a different form of vibration. What is the vibration of God then? Well, it's the ultimate vibration. It is kind of the ultimate, right? So what I mean by the ultimate is the most, how can I say it? The most vibrant vibration of all. It is so vibrant that it's not vibrating at all. That is what I call movement without movement. And I have an old video about it. If you want to search it on my YouTube channel, it's on Spanish. It is called Movimiento sin Movimiento, movement without movement. So if you can picture that in your mind, a vibration that is vibrating so quick, so rapidly, with so high frequency, is so quick that it's disappeared. It disappeared because it is so much that is also nothing. That is God vibration. So what that means for you as a human being? Well, when you are vibrating like that, first of all, you are really pure. You are vibrating in purity because you are vibrating as God. Also, that means that you are vibrating with a good vibe. You will be in a good humor. It's normally if you are connected with your essence, if you are connected with your infinite creativity, how the hell you will feel? You will not feel depressed. You will not feel anxious. You will not feel disappointed. You will feel absolutely great. You will feel in your peak. You will feel in your prime. Every day, every second, every instant, you will be on your fire. That is your ultimate vibration. You will be flowing in conversations. You will be vibrating the vibration of a leader that is approachable, because leaders that are vibrating in a low frequency, those are leaders that you cannot approach them. You are scared of them, like they are kind of a boss instead of a leader. But a maximum leader with a God vibration and operating in God mode, that is an approachable leader. That is a beautiful leader. That is a type of Mahatma Gandhi type of leader. That is kind of a Martin Luther King kind of leader. The vibration is almost divine. It's like a bridge between the skies and the earth. And when we think about leadership, that is the ultimate leadership role. The role of creating the divine principle here on earth. We can call that the king or queen archetype in an archetypal theory. And I have an episode. It's not an episode. It's a video in Spanish that is called El Arquetipo del Rey. Búscalo en mi canal de YouTube. El Arquetipo del Rey, para que sea mejor líder que nunca. The king archetype. So you need to vibrate in your ultimate vibration. And to vibrate with your ultimate vibration is all about how you feel, man, and all the techniques that you do. So if you practice yoga, you will increase your vibration. If you practice meditation, you will increase your vibration. If you practice cold showers, pranayama or respirations, or maybe journalism or art or music or dance, everything that makes you happy, like in a beautiful way, will increase your vibration. So vibrate as that. The next point is that you need to be on, to be on God mode, you need to create as ultimate creativity. I have an episode on Spanish that is called Creatividad Infinita. Búscalo en mi canal de YouTube para más información. But ultimate creativity is just infinite creativity. How God creates, that is the question. How God creates? Well, you may say, well, it creates directly and creates infinitely. Well, if you are operating in God mode, then you need to create directly and you need to create infinitely. What I mean to create directly? Well, do not procrastinate too much to create. Like you have the idea, you go directly to creation. Most people, most only humans, they have the idea, then they procrastinate, they do a plan, they erase the plan, they blah, 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 blah here, blah, blah, blah there, they waste their time. And then like 3 months later, they start doing and implementing the idea. Hey, that is human mode. God mode is idea creation, bang, idea creation, bang. And hey, it doesn't mean that you will be impulsive and not strategize. Yeah, you will strategize. And then obviously you will have intelligence behind your actions. But don't let your intelligence compromise the ultimate creativity that is your right to have. You're a creative being. You are a creative entity. So create infinitely. Create everything that you got in order to be in God mode. The next one is that you need to adapt. No, sorry. You need to accept universally and love all. So I have an episode that is on English. Finally, I can recommend you an English one for you that are only English speakers. I have an episode that is called um, Universal Acceptance. Mastermind podcast, Universal Acceptance. And in that episode, I teach you this principle of accepting everything. Because if reality love itself, and it appears that it loves itself because it is here and it's not going anywhere, so it must love itself, right? Well, that means that reality accepts itself. Because if you are rejecting yourself, you cannot love yourself. So reality, everything that is, or God, or the universe, accept itself completely, every aspect of itself, and also love itself completely. So you, as a part of reality, or AKA as a subsystem, or as a direct creation of reality, or reality itself, you also should be replicating this model of one, accepting everything universally. Everything in the universe must be accepted by you, and also it must be loved by you. And I have an episode on Spanish that is called La vida es una simulación de amor. For more information. La vida es una simulación de amor. For more information. In English, that episode will be Life is a Love Simulator. And in that episode, if you want, I will go very deep into this love idea. So, hey, you cannot be rejecting and hating things and operating in God mode at the same time. You need to love everything, including the bad. And remember, there's no opposites when you are in the God mode. But just saying, the bad, the uncomfortable, the negative, the thing that you don't like, even that you must accept. And even that you must learn how to love, to operate in God mode. The next one is that you need to be not so human anymore if you want to operate in God mode. What I mean by that, well, human history is full of humans that are constantly breaking the boundaries of what means to be human. And if you want to operate in God mode, you need to be constantly reaching new levels. And by reaching new levels, you need to redefine what is to be human and what is to operate in God mode. Like, for example, people that are breaking everyday records, like, for example, people that can work out for days in a row, they are not so human. People that can, I don't know, people that can remember every face they saw in a day with the name of that face, they are not so human anymore. People that can create one album, full album in one day, or they can go in a flow streak, in a streak with maximum flow, maximum creativity. That is God mode as well. When you are feeling on flow, I have an episode on that on Spanish. It is called Flow. Just search it on YouTube. When you are reaching that flow state, that zone state, when everything is flowing, that is operating in God mode. But the reason, or the real challenge is how to stay there, man. How to stay in that God mode, how to stay in that flow state. Well, one of the strategies to stay there is to continuously pushing your limits. God is expansive. If God is the universe, we know by a fact that the universe is expanding every moment. So you should be replicating that expansion, that's cosmic, universal expansion. Hey, that is your nature. So why you are not expanding your personality? Why are you not expanding your capacities, your capabilities, your skills, your knowledge, your intellect, your spiritual beingness? That is also part of operating in a God mode state. Also, every action, and this is the next one, every action that the God makes is proper of a God. They do not, gods do not have time for insubstantial tasks or, non-important or little tasks. So I already told you, when we are talking about operating in God mode, we are talking about thinking big. You cannot operate in God mode and think little. So if you are maybe thinking about how can I earn $100,000 this year, hey, that is little. You need to operate in God mode. What if you think, how can I gain $20 million per year or $1 billion per year? And you may say, oh my God, that is preposterous. That is crazy. Well, that is to operate in God mode. I don't care if you achieve it, man. This is not about the result. This is about the process, who you become in your way to operating as God, in operating in God mode, in becoming a legend, in transforming the world, in creating a better ecosystem for living the next years to come. So this is not about if you reach your goal. This is not about if you are a millionaire or not. This is all about establishing a goal that will demand your best and operating your best through that goal or towards that goal. That is how to operate in God mode, right? So you need to act, and every action must be big. How do I say contundente in English? Let me say, Google, help me with this one, man. I need to say one word, because I am looking for a specific word. What? Overwhelming. Overwhelming? Convincing? Devastating? It is not the same translation. So contundente in Spanish is like powerful, right? So I want you to be acting powerfully. Every action, every word, you can say it as a human or as a God. For example, I can say, I love you. That's kind of a human. But I can say it in God mode, big enough, with high vibration. I love you. Just notice the energy. I love you. I love you. One comes from my throat. I love you. I love you, baby. And one comes from my core, from my God, from my core, from my spiritual center. I love you. Notice just the vibration. Everything, I want you to do it like this in God mode. The next step is that you need to transcend time, space, contexts, and culture. You need to become evergreen. So when I'm talking about that you need to transcend time, hey, people that are operating consistently in God mode, they don't even know what day it is. I was interviewing Akira the Don. He's one of the greatest artists in the world right now. And you can search that interview if you want. It is called The Most Intimate and Profound Conversation with Akira the Don. And that guy, he was always telling me in the interview what year it is, what year it is. And I was kind of, how do you know? How do you how you don't know, right? And I was thinking about it, and hey, when we are operating in God mode, we forget the date because there's no time. Time is just human. You know what is the time for God? No time, or infinity, or perennial, eternal, forever. So you need to live forever. You need to operate forever. Also, do not depend on space. Like, you can be here in this space right now, physically, but your imagination can transcend a space. Your muse, all right, your artistic capacities, your sublime experiences. You can transcend space. You don't need to be, oh, sorry, I'm trying to fix the light here. You don't need to be fixed on space. If you are operating as God, you need to be everywhere. And how you can be everywhere? Well, you have a mind, my friend. You have a mind that is a very powerful tool. Use that tool to become omnipresent in every type of experience that will be worth it to love. Also, you need to transcend contexts, like what is happening right now, what is the circumstance, and also your culture. Maybe you're a Western, maybe you're an Eastern, maybe you're a capitalist, maybe you are a socialist, maybe you are a a right wing in politics, or maybe you're a left winger in politics. I don't care. What is your culture? What is your culture paradigms? You need to transcend those. I don't mean that you need to start believing them. You don't need to stop promoting them. If you believe that, maybe you believe that capitalism, this is the way, well, promote it. But promote it big, and also don't be attached to it. All right. When you are operating in God mode, you are not attached to anything, because you love all. So you love the fact that capitalistic paradigms for you are good, but also you love the fact that socialism exists, because socialism is also God. So you are, again, merging the opposites and transcending time, space, culture, thoughts, contexts, and becoming evergreen. When you are evergreen, you are forever. You are never out of fashion. So I have an episode that is called How to Be Evergreen. It's on English. You can search it on my YouTube or Spotify. The next point is that you need to always be the leader, the first cause. Hey, God is the first movement. So if you want to operate as God mode, you need to be the first movement every time as well. You have to demonstrate initiative. You have to demonstrate proactivity. That is what is to be God mode. So if you are passive, waiting always for people to make the first step, are you operating in God mode? No. You're operating as just an average human being that have nothing to offer. That's why it's not saying nothing. When you say nothing, when you act nothing, when you propose nothing, it's because probably you have nothing to say, nothing to propose. You are a nothing human being. You're a human being with very, very, very little. You haven't cultivated your sophistication. And this is about cultivation, folks. This is not about I born this, or you was born with this privilege. No, this is sophistication. This is reading, this is expanding, this is meditating, this is become more than what you are. Becoming more than who you are. Hey, this is personal development at the end of the day, right? This is what it's all about. So be the first cause. Every time that you are in a situation in your life, remember, a situation will present itself, and you can say, I will be a bystander here, I will be just an observer, or I will be the first cause. I will be the first change to start the change. I will be the first movement that we will disrupt this whole pattern, and I will start with my God mode, designing a new code for this dimension of life. Be the first cause, my friend. You need to operate in God mode. The next one is that if you are operating in God mode, you need to become a force in the collective unconscious when you are biologically alive, but more so when you are dead. I will repeat this. I know that this one is a little bit confusing. You need to become a force in the collective unconscious. So you need to become a pattern, a spirit, a something in the psychical realm, in the collective consciousness. When you are biologically living, that means that your work needs to be operating in the collective consciousness of the world. So imagine that the whole world have one consciousness, and every person is like thoughts in that consciousness. So you need to contribute with thoughts, with your own conversation, with your own grain of sand that is improving the whole system of consciousness. You need to do this when you are alive. But more importantly, you will do this when you are dead. And how the hell you will do this if you are dead? Well, because if you work when you're alive, if you work with a magnum opus and a magnum corpus and you create a very good body of work, you will become a legend, and your work will continue to impact millions of lives after you die. Or do you think that Jesus Christ, it is not impacting life until today? He has been dead for 22 years, all right, 2,000 years. And he's still impacting lives today because he became a force in the collective unconscious. He's kind of an archetype, all right? He transcended the matter, and now he's an idea. He's in the ideas world. All right. He's an utopia. He's a value. He's a divine constitutional value. Search that on my YouTube channel. It's on English. Divine constitutional values. It's another episode. One is constitutional values, and another episode is divine constitutional values. So you need to create a good work when you are alive, but also that work needs to transcend your own biological time, and your work needs to work when you are dead. And the final point, and I have a bonus after this one, is that people that really operate in God mode, they never die. So you never die, really. All right? You only get out of energy biologically, but you never die, man. You are all, you are everything. You are beyond time, you are beyond space. So therefore, you are beyond death. Even you are beyond life. So don't become attached. Don't become attached to living. Don't become attached to dying. Live beyond everything and understand that you are immortal when you are operating in God mode. As an immortal being, you can create wonderful things in this world. Don't let your mind fool you. Don't let distractions get away with your best work, with everything that you can do and be and create in this world, everything for the better, for the future of humanity. Be wise. Operating in God mode, striving to operate in a more powerful way is just smart. It is just wise to do. It is just the correct decision to do. So go get it. Don't wait for me. Don't wait for these episodes. Don't wait for Derek Israel to understand the most mysterious aspects of reality. Go get it. Go do it. Go operate. Go establish some goals and operate in God mode towards those goals. And the bonus one, my friend, is that if you can operate in God mode long enough, you will become a legend. And you already knew this one. I already spoiled you here. In the beginning of the podcast, I already told you, if you are operating in God mode, that is a requirement to become a legend at the end of the day. And that is so true, man. So true. So this is not about operating in God mode just for 10 minutes. This is operating in God mode for the rest of your life. This is a lifetime work. And remember, I told you, this is an ideal. How the hell you will be doing all of this at the same time every time of your life? It is impossible. But you need to be working on these ones, and also you need to be creating new type of strategies to operate in God mode. For example, it's gonna be very difficult for you to all the times collapse the opposites. It will be very difficult for you to every time be vibrating in the ultimate vibration, every time being creating infinitely, every time being accepting everything and loving everything, every time being not so human and transcending your own boundaries and your self-limiting belief, every time, uh, you know, acting big and thinking big, every time transcending space, time, context, culture, every time being the leader, the first cause, every time becoming the collective unconscious and a force in the collective psyche, every time not dying and living forever. And, it's going to be difficult. But hey, this is the work, this is the effort. That's why we do it, because it is difficult. And this is how to operate in God mode. So, hey, my friend, I want you to like this video if you enjoy it, and leave a comment. If you reach to this point, leave a comment about what do you think about this subject. What do you think about this construct that I invented? I didn't invent it, I just copied it from other things, but I established it as a part of my um, you know paradigm or system of beliefs, or work that we are doing here, whatever you want to call it, philosophy, whatever. um So give me your comments. I want you to tell me, do you can find any other strategy or step? I told you 10 and one bonus. Can you find a new one to operate in God mode? Maybe I'm missing something. I'm pretty sure that I'm missing something, and you can help me and the whole community to have a more holistic understanding if you just share your thoughts in the comment section. Also, remember to share this with your friends, share it in your social media, share it in your WhatsApp or in your Instagram or in your Facebook or everywhere. Also, remember that I'm going to be publishing very, very soon the book Terapia con Derek, Therapy with Derek. So stay tuned for that. And I want to remind you that we are on Patreon, and if you can support us on Patreon, I will be loving you on God mode. Because, hey, at the end of the day, we need to become self sustainable, right? In every project and every product that we do, one of the efforts that we are doing to become self sustainable is to pray through Patreon. And this is a platform in which you can donate money for this free podcast and free content that is helping to transform thousands of worlds around the planet. Sorry, thousands thousands of worlds around the planet. That's cool. No, thousands of lives around the planet. And you can donate so little, like you can donate like $5 in a month, and that will make a huge difference. So hey, go to the link in the description, go to Patreon, and you will be receiving special and exclusive benefits, exclusive content if you become a Patreon supporter. So do that, and also visit derekisrael.com. There you will find everything that I have on store. You will find the books, the courses, the sexual mastery course, the meditation course, life purpose course, manifesting your life purpose, how to create content course, and also I have another course that is called the Self Love Masterclass. In derekisrael.com, also you can search my YouTube, my consulting service, my coaching service, and very soon my psychotherapy service. So, hey, I want to work with you. I want to transform your life, and I want you to uh, start operating in God mode so I can help. So, go to derekisrael.com, and I see you there, my friend. Let's go.